Before I get started with grinding the flour, I want to show you the machine. So the machine, as you can see, it's this doll. There are 3 settings on the Wondermill. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There are 3 settings on the Wondermill: pastry, bread, and coarse. And pastry, of course, pun intended, is the finest setting. Bread's kind of a medium setting, and coarse is bigger grains. So you can spin it wherever you want it within this dial. For my grains, I tend to keep it closer to the pastry level of fineness just because that's how I prefer my flour. Not that I would know, but if you press this on button and nothing's attached, flour goes everywhere. So I wouldn't recommend pressing this button unless you want flour to coat your kitchen. I've only used gluten-free grains in this. I will never mix my gluten grains in this machine because it all goes in and comes out here, and there's no real great way to clean this. The grains go in here and the flour comes out here in this little bucket. The bucket, of course, is empty until you put grain in it. This attachment is how it goes from this machine to the bucket. There is a little filter on top. I would not recommend turning the machine on without the filter in place. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, I did it once and flour went everywhere. And on the bottom is this thing. I really am not quite sure what it does, except for it's a pain in the butt and it falls off into the flour bucket when I try to attach the top and the bottom. It's not that easy to do, or at least it's not easy for me because I make things difficult. So my bucket's clean. Fairly. It's got a little bit of flour residue because before I started the video I accidentally hit the on button without it attached, so flour went everywhere. Now I'm gonna hit this thing real hard and it's probably gonna drop that little filter thing, and you see it came right off. So I've got to put it back on. So we're going to try it again. I know that there's a trick, but I can never seem to do it easily. If you have this machine, oh, I may have done it. It's not bouncing around in there. So now what I'm going to do is take and attach this to my machine. And it's somewhat simple actually. It's self-explanatory. There's a hole on the side of the machine and you're going to attach this hose into the hole. It's awkward at best, but it's in there. Again, you don't want to turn on the machine without that in there, or you make a huge giant mess. So let's make sure I've got everything done. The machine is plugged in. The machine is set to the setting that I would like. The filter is attached underneath. The little filter pad is on top and the machine is connected. There is a top that if you want to store your flour in this always, you can do that, but I don't store my flour in there. All right, now I'm going to try to get you a better view so that you can see what's going on in the machine. Millet flour, millet flour, millet flour. Oat flour, oat flour, oat flour. What? Well, it wouldn't be me if Carolina wasn't in the video. So, here's a Carolina popcorn bucket. And it is a big size bucket next to the Wondermill. And the Wondermill is just slightly bigger than the popcorn bucket. But on the inside, yep, see? The inside of the popcorn bucket fits right in the Wondermill. There's no telling when that giraffe will have a baby. Weren't we just doing this 2 years ago? But I still look at the giraffe's backside because it's so much fun. I've clearly lost my mind.